Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown. This is a show that is everything Broncos and sports topics related. I'm your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys, I know that this lighter color blue doesn't match the darker color blue, but it does match the Avalanche color blue, and that's why I'm wearing it. The Avalanche played tonight at the New York Rangers, and I'm not going to do an Avalanche update, but I'm just going to give you a little brief right now. I guess it'd be kind of like an update, but anyways, their record is 2-2-1, and they've had a little bit of a sluggish start coming out of the gate, but that's okay. That's all right. They'll find their skating legs here really, really soon. Let's hope so. Let's hope it starts right here in New York against the Rangers. All right, guys. I got a lot of topics, a lot of different directions, obviously mostly geared on the Broncos and what they are and are not doing, and just some interesting things. I also have Jackass of the Week, and this one's strange to me. I mean, I'll get into that, but let's first things first. And being first things first, we're going to talk about last Sunday's game. 9 points again. 9. Now, when the Broncos lost to can't remember, 16-9. I mean, I'm sorry, not 16-9. 10-9. Was it 10-9? Let me find it. Hang on, guys. I'm sorry. Should have had this prepared already, but bear with me. Okay, so when the Broncos lost, they lost to the Colts 12-9, and of course the Jets 16-9. When we lost to the Jets, I should remember that because it was an overtime game. When we lost to the Jets 12-9, who was quarterback? Oh, that's right. It was Russell Wilson. Sure, he was banged up and stuff, but it was still Russell Wilson who was the quarterback. 9 points. Last Sunday, we lost 16-9. And we lost that to the Jets. Who was the quarterback? Nope, not Wilson. It was Brett Rippon. Wait a minute. What's the common denominator here? Not obviously the common denominator is number 9. What's the common factor? Both quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Brett Rippon, could only muster and produce 9 points. I understand. Before you guys say it, I understand. Brandon McManus missed an extra point and a field goal. We still would have lost 16-10. We lost 16-9 because we got a field goal. Okay, so we got a field. I'm sorry, we would have lost 16-13. Still would have lost. But the bottom line is this. It's not a Wilson problem. It's not a Rippon problem. Because if you look at it, they were both basically equal. I mean, they both, in the Wilson game against the Colts, they didn't score a touchdown. But with Rippon at quarterback, they did score a touchdown. But they only got 9 points each. So where does the problem lie? I've said it many, many times, guys. The problem lies with Hackett. He doesn't know how to call plays. He doesn't know how to run a team. And to me, he is not a leader. Not a leader. Not whatsoever. Because a leader will make people better. They will work on their strengths, not what they want. Sure, I mean, every leader wants to lead their own way. But let's say, okay, in my job, okay, I had a supervisor and I had a, foremans at times. I've had supervisors, I've had managers, whatever. I am not like the next person next to me working. So I was treated differently or approached differently or whatever than somebody working next to me in a different trade or different capacity. Well, that's the way Hackett needs to do it here. he needs to treat Wilson differently than Rippon. So if Wilson's game that he likes to play is this way, but Rippon's is that way, why not change it up? Why keep the same system when it's not working? And it's not. The Broncos are 2-5. They are on the verge, and I'll get into that a little bit later towards the end of the show, but they're on the verge of going 2-6. Where does the ownership of this team, the Walton Penner group, where does their where does this all factor into them? It has to. They don't have any allegiance to Wilson or Hackett or Payton. I want them to keep George Payton, absolutely. I'm not too sure about Hackett, though. And they don't have any allegiance to him because they didn't sign him. They weren't the owners at the time. So I'll get into that, like I said, a little bit later in the show, but it's just interesting to think how badly this team has gotten. When I thought Fangio was bad, or McDaniels was bad, or Joseph, I didn't think we could get much worse than them. Well, we have. We have drastically gotten lower than all three of those I just mentioned. Okay, let's go to injuries. So if you want to add insult to injury, then so the insult was the loss to the Jets. The injury is the loss to the players. And here they are. Mike Boone and Baron Browning both were injured in the New York Jets game. Boone is expected to miss about 4 weeks due to a high ankle sprain. Browning is expected to miss several weeks due to a hip injury. Just keeps coming, guys. Just keeps coming. Game, I don't think there's, in fact, I'm positive. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty positive that there has not been a game yet, and we played 7. I don't feel and believe that there has been a game where the Broncos haven't had a significant injury. I can't think of one. I can't think of a single game the Broncos played this year where they have not had at least an injury that kept out a player for the next game or two or more. This is uncanny. It's unbelievable. It's unreal. I don't think I've ever seen a Broncos team in all the years I've been a Broncos fan since 1976. I don't recall ever having this many injuries in such a short and a few games. Now, I understand the halfway point is what? Halfway through past the bye week? Okay. Well, the bye weeks, I think it's 9. Yeah. So it's halfway through, halfway between the London game and the bye week is a halfway point. I don't think I've ever seen this many injuries. Seriously. I mean, season-ending injuries. And 4 weeks or 6 weeks worth of injuries on the IR. That kind of thing. I don't think I've ever seen this. And it's bothersome because I don't know if it goes back to the way Hackett orchestrated preseason, OTAs, voluntary workouts, practices, game preparation. I don't know if that's what it is. But it sure is a whole lot different than years past. I mean, Fangio had some injuries, sure. You know, not him himself, but the Broncos team when he was coaching, but not to this degree. And he played preseason with the starters. And he had very, very rough OTAs. I mean, what I mean by rough is, you know, full pads and going full force and not, you know, baby step walkthroughs and not rah, 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 rah. Because you can't win it that way. You have to be a leader. And it starts from the head coach to the players. You can't have a hug a tree kind of guy. Hey, buddy, man, come on over here. Everything's okay. Everything's fine. No, it's not. It is not fine. And when we get these key injuries to Mike Boone and to Baron Browning, those hurt. Well, no pun intended, obviously. But those are catastrophic to a team. And I know there's people out there going to say, well, see, that's why the Broncos are losing, because they got a whole lot of players down, this, that, and the other. Well, guess what, guys? The Broncos, and I'll get into this too in detail, but the Broncos are the best defense against points allowed. And we had several defensive players out. We got Darby out. We had a Justin Simmons out for 4 weeks. Now we've had Josie Jewell in and out. We've had quite a few defensive guys in and out, and yet they've continued to produce. Why? I'll tell you why. In my opinion, this is why. Who's the defensive coordinator? That's right. Evero. Evero is the defensive coordinator, and he knows how to get the best out of his players. He structures the defense to the strengths of those players. The offense? Who's calling the shots? That's right, Nathaniel Hackett. Not Outman. Should be Outman, but it's Hackett. And Hackett has no idea what he's doing. None whatsoever. And that's why the offense is the way it is. Because even though we have injuries on the offense, we have guys that can step in and fill the gap and fill the void. Yes, we have issues on the offensive line and we have running back issues. I understand that. But then whose problem is that? That's not putting the players or getting the players that we need. In our draft, we didn't draft offensive linemen. We didn't. Well, I mean, we got tight ends and stuff, but that's not a lineman. We needed line help. We didn't get it. So that's on Peyton. But the players that we have need to step up and be the players that we need, just like on defense. So whatever Evero is doing on defense to get his guys ready and in the same position and the right spot, Hackett's not doing on the offense. And that's the problem. So yes, does Browning hurt? Absolutely. Absolutely. Does Boone hurt? Sure he does. But you have to have guys that come in and step in and fill the void. It's their opportunity. It's their time and day to shine. Or crash and burn. And that's basically what it's been on the offense for the Broncos when players go down. All right. Let's move on to, speaking of running back and offensive injury to Mike Boone, the Denver Broncos have signed a running back from the San Francisco 49ers to fill in for the injured Mike Boone. Now, that is great, great news. And I'm glad we have him. I'm sorry, guys. In my notes, I completely spaced out and forgot to write down his name, and I apologize for that. But the Broncos did sign a running back. He is in London with the team today. The team landed today. And he's in London, so he's there. But we also have Gordon, and we have Murray, and now we have the forgotten name. Sorry, guys. Again, that was my bad. So that's good. We need all the help we can get. But I mean, we could have Hall of Fame offensive team. And with Hackett calling the plays, I'm not too sure we'd score that many points either. So, well, it is good to have another running back in the fold because Boone is out at least 4 weeks. All right. Possible Broncos sale. No. Not the team, players. And yes, I worded it that way just to catch you guys. It's called a teaser. So hopefully it worked. Anyways, the Broncos' possible player sales or trades. Teams have contacted the Broncos for possible trade for Bradley Chubb, Jerry Jeudy, and KJ Hamler per Adam Schefter. I don't like it. I don't like it. Bradley Chubb is just starting to get in his groove, to get to the passer, to break past the line, to make tackles, to make sacks. He's now starting to feel comfortable. I don't want him gone. I don't want him gone whatsoever. I also don't want, KJ Hamler gone. Why? KJ Hamler is a force. I like him. I like him a lot. I think he is very, very, I guess what I'm trying to say is he fits in really well in this offense. He's got good hands. I like that. I like that a lot. You have to have that as a good receiver. You have to be able to go up and get the ball from the defender. Jerry Jeudy. Now, Jerry Jeudy, he had so much potential, but it hasn't been proven on the field. And then he breaks off routes. He doesn't finish routes. He gets upset when he doesn't get the ball. He kind of pouts and cries. I'm not getting the ball so much. Why not me? Because you don't produce. If you produced and you finished routes and you did what your assignment is supposed to be, maybe you'd get more touches. Maybe you would. But that's not happening. And because it's not happening, that's why you're being considered in a trade. Sorry, Jerry. Facts are facts. The truth hurts. I'm sorry. A lot of people say I'm negative about the Broncos. I'm negative about players. I'm negative about this and that. I'm not negative. I'm bringing the truth. Honest, passionate, emotional, but the truth. And yes, my comments are my comments, but it's based on what I see and what I read and what I study and how things are. That's why it comes off negative. I mean, if the Broncos were winning and they were 6-1 right now, do you think I'd be saying anything negative? Of course not. But when you're 2-5 and fans are leaving the stadium even before overtime when they were home against the Colts, what's that tell you? What does that tell you? They're fed up too, and they're frustrated, and they're angry because they did not get the product that the hype was all about. And we haven't gotten the product. So, facts are facts. So don't shoot the messenger. I'm just the one that's bringing the facts, raw, honest, truthful, and passionate. Okay. NFL refs and Mike Evans. I don't know if you guys saw this or heard about this, but going into the tunnel after the game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Carolina Panthers, video showed two refs asking Mike Evans to sign something. They're not supposed to get autographs. They're not supposed to go, hey, buddy, man, can I get an autograph? They're not supposed to do that. As it turns out, per NFL referees, the announcement is it wasn't about an autograph, but about his, meaning Evans, phone number to be given to a golf instructor for Evans' golf lessons. What? Hang on a second. It wasn't about an autograph, but about his phone number to be given to a golf instructor for Evans' lesson. Wait a minute. So you're basically what that is saying is the NFL says, no, it wasn't an autograph they were after. They just wanted his phone number so they could pass it along to their friend who's a professional golf instructor for Mike Evans. Why couldn't they have just said, hey, here's this guy, contact him? They got a phone number? Was a referee really going to keep the phone number for himself, as well as possibly giving it to a golf instructor? I don't know. There's no rule in the NFL that says you cannot do a favor for a player or whatever outside of football, like golf or whatever. There's no rules stipulating that you can't do that. All it says is that you can't get memorabilia and you can't get autographs and you can't get anything related to anything football. But you can get a guy's phone number, a player's phone number, to be passed over to somebody else without possibly keeping the phone number for yourself? Hello, Mike. This is referee so-and-so. Yeah. I did that favor for you. So next game, I mean, who knows? Who knows what they could say? Josh, just my thoughts, guys. Just my thoughts. I'm not saying the referees kept the number. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not even saying that the NFL is not covering up because maybe it was autograph. Maybe it was something else. I don't know. I'm not accusing anyone or any situation. I'm just making my own observation and just kind of throwing things out there like, interesting. Very, very interesting. All right. Now, let's go to the jackass of the week. All right, guys. I know a lot of people, they go to nightclubs, they go to parties, they go to bars, they go to restaurants, all these different places that, you can go and have a good time with your buddies, sports bar or whatever, have some, chicken wings and some drinks and you kind of hang out with your buddy and have a good time. Well, sometimes when you have a little too much, things can go sideways. Here it is. Ola UDFA. That's how you UDOH. Ola UDFA. Vikings offensive lineman Ola UDFA has been arrested in Miami last Saturday and charged with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. Okay. What did he do? He's in Miami. A lot of crazy things happen in Miami, from my understanding. Never been there. Frankly, don't really want to go. Anyways, I continue. UDFA was talking to a woman in the bathroom line and at a nightclub. Okay, hang on. So he's at a nightclub. Obviously, he's had several drinks, possibly. I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying possibly. Several drinks at a nightclub, having a good time, standing in line to go to the restroom. Obviously, boys would go this way and the girls would go that way, whatever. And they're standing in line a whole bit, or maybe next to each side by side. I don't know. Just says they're standing in line at a nightclub. He then followed her. Whoa, wait a minute. He then followed her into the woman's restroom and then wouldn't leave. I know alcohol can make you do stupid things, but following a woman into the bathroom and then refusing to leave? I mean, how awkward was that for her? I mean, seriously. I mean, maybe she just went in and powder her nose. I don't know. Put some makeup on or something, or lipstick or whatever, and the guy's standing like this. I mean, I don't know. Crazy. Anyways, Minnesota was on a bye at the time of this incident. That doesn't make it any better. Obviously, if they're on a bye, they're free to go and be wherever they want to be. But to go to Miami, hang out, say, hey, man, I'm going to hang out with some of my friends, some of my homies, some of my buddies. Oh, by the way, I think I'll follow this woman into the restroom. Gosh, man, are you serious? Really? Indecent exposure, disorderly conduct, and refusing arrest or resisting arrest. Good gosh. And these guys want to be athletes. They want these kids to look up to them. Well, maybe not an offensive line, but he's still on the same team that maybe they're a fan of, these kids. And they hear about this. They're like, oh, that guy's pretty cool. No, he's not. He's not cool. Totally wrong. Totally wrong. Now, it didn't say anything about him assaulting her or groping her. He didn't say anything like that in the article. But it doesn't matter. He was in a place he shouldn't have been. And then he didn't want to leave. And then he resisted arrest. If the Vikings don't address this and they don't take matters seriously, then that team doesn't have my respect, because they have to do that. You have to address situations that are not tolerable. Now, is the NFL going to get involved? They could. They could say conduct detriment to the NFL. Vikings could say conduct detrimental to the team. They have to do something, because when these players, when they have all this money, they think they can go out and do whatever they want. They're above the law. Well, thank goodness they're not. And this person, UDFA, he needs to be punished by the Vikings first and foremost, and then possibly by the NFL. All right. Now, we've all heard of Magic Johnson. He's a legend on the Los Angeles Lakers. But Hall of Famer Magic Johnson is reportedly in talks to acquire an ownership stake in the Las Vegas Raiders. Wow. Raiders, really? I thought he would be more into it like in LA, like maybe the Chargers or the Rams or Raiders? Well, I know that he likes Marcus Allen. I know that. Maybe that has something to do with it, because Marcus Allen used to play for the then Oakland Raiders. Maybe that has something to do with it. But that's interesting that Magic Johnson would want to be part owner of the Raiders. I mean, it basically is a hop, skip, and a jump from Los Angeles, where he lives. You just get in a private plane, his own plane, somebody's plane, and just take a 30-minute flight to Vegas, maybe 45 minutes. There you go. He's there in a heartbeat. So, I mean, is it good for the NFL? I don't know. I mean, the NFL is always looking for a market, always looking for a key, somebody who, can be like the face of organization or face of a culture, whatever. I mean, you got Jerry Jones in Dallas. Everybody knows that. You have Stan Kroenke with the Rams and the Avalanche and the Nuggets. I mean, you got these high profile people, but when you get former professional athletes that want to be part of it, then, that does speak volumes. I mean, John Elway had an opportunity to be part owner of the Broncos when Pat Bowlen was still alive, and I think it was 85. 85 as a player, he couldn't take ownership of the owner. He couldn't take possession, I should say, of the ownership rights, but Elway never took the bait. Elway never did it. And to me, that was his mistake, because he could have gotten a huge chunk of money when Walton Penner Ownership Group took ownership. All right, let's move on. Here is the good and the bad. The Denver Broncos are best and last on the same team at the same time. That's crazy, but here it is. Denver has the best defense against points allowed and the worst offense with points scored. There you go. I mean, the Broncos have always had I shouldn't say always. The Broncos have had great defensive teams in the past where they've been number one, they've been number two, number four, number three, somewhere like that. And their offense was never dead last. They may be in the middle of the pack. They may be a little above the middle, a little below the middle, but never dead last. Well, under Nathaniel Hackett, the Broncos have achieved the thing that I thought would never happen. The best defense against points allowed, the worst offense with points scored. Here's the breakdown. The defense has allowed 16.4 points per game on average. Wait a minute, that's a familiar number. 16 points? Isn't that what Denver has scored mostly? Not so fast. The offense has scored 14.2 points per game on average. If Denver could have scored 18 points in every game, they would have they would have a record of 6-1 instead of 2-5. That is remarkable. That is remarkable. The Broncos have scored on average in 7 games 14.2 points a game. All they needed was 4 more points or 3.8 more points on average to get to 18. And they would be 6-1. But it doesn't work that way. Because they didn't get 18 points a game on average. They're getting 14.2. Shoot, Tim Tebow scored more points per game than that by himself. Either running or throwing the ball, whatever. Whenever it was Tebow time, which is the fourth quarter, Tebow showed up. Not Denver. Not under Hackett. Oh, by the way, when Tebow was quarterback for the Broncos, the head coach was McDaniels, who everybody says was a horrible coach. Yet Tim Tebow, by himself, on average, scored 14 points. Himself. Because you count the extra point. Guys, I know it's only 12, but you count the extra point, okay? So, on average, Tebow scored 14 points by himself. The Broncos, as a team, under Hackett, averaging 14.2 points a game. And people say, it's Wilson. I will debate that. And here it is. Hackett says, listen carefully. Hackett says everything is fine. What? Hackett says everything's fine. What the heck? He has got to be delirious. Absolutely has to be delirious. Every Broncos fan in Broncos country can see that not everything's fine. Absolutely not. Let me read you what he said. And I'll expand on a little bit. But I am absolutely dumbfounded. Absolutely dumbfounded at what he's going to say or what he said. And here it is. Hackett said, and I quote, "I feel like our operation has been going well." What? Going well? What operation? The operation of losing? Yeah, that's going really well. Like 4 in a row. Well, I feel like our operation has been going well. I don't think this guy has a freaking clue. I continue. And I'm still in the quote. "We held the ball for a long time and we moved the ball." Okay, fine. So you move the ball between the 20s and the 20s. What does that get you? Maybe 3 points? Oh, yeah, that's basically what the Broncos have been getting per game only. I continue. "We just didn't convert on some third downs." Some? How about most? How about most? That kind of stalled us. But we're going to keep going how we are, and we'll evaluate everything we always do. Holy smokes. So let me read this again because this does not make any sense what he's saying. That kind of stalled us, meaning not converting third downs. That kind of stalled us, but we're going to keep going how we are, and we'll evaluate everything because we always do. Okay, so what are you doing with your evaluations? Okay, when you go to the doctor or something happens and you want to get evaluated, hey, doc, my arm, my elbow, this, and then he always asks you certain things you go through, does this hurt? Does that hurt? What'd you do? How'd you get it done? Whatever. And then he looks at it and goes, okay, this is what we need to do to correct it, He doesn't put a little Band-Aid on it and say, okay, you're good. Go home. You'll be fine in a couple of days. Just rest. No big deal. We're on par. We're doing the right thing. Our operation's going well. The way we're handling it is fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay. And you still have the same problem. Your arm still hurts. It still isn't fixed. Isn't that what the Broncos are at right now? Hackett's putting a Band-Aid on this thing, saying, we're okay. It's okay. No big deal. We'll get it. We got to figure it out. We got it squared away. We're okay. We're fine. We're good. No, you're not. Any more than a broken arm would be good by putting a Band-Aid on it. And hoping, okay, just go home and rest and just take it easy. We're okay. No, you're not. No, you're not. I continue, still in quote. We always want to get better and whatever we can to help this team get better as coaches. How are you helping the team get better? You're calling the same stupid plays. You're running the same stupid calls. 4th and 3 and you don't go for it. But on 4th and 10, oh yeah, let's throw it deep in the end zone. Oh, Sutton should have made that catch, but he didn't. He fell down. Sutton should have made that. He was double covered and he was falling down and it was 4th and 10. Why are you throwing it 35 yards? Stupid. That's what I'm saying. So we always want to get better and whatever we can do to help this team get better as coaches. Well, you haven't done anything to help them get better. You're status quo. Like you've said earlier, you're all status quo. Everything's fine. We're just going to keep going the way we're going. Yeah, which is losing, which is going further and further and further downhill. Yeah, that's status quo, all right. Unbelievable. Everyone needs to look from within because Everyone needs to look from within because we put ourselves in this position. No, Hackett, you put the team in that position. You single-handedly put the team in this position. Not we, not Wilson, not Rippon, not Sutton, maybe Judy. But no, you, Hackett, calling the plays, having a game plan that is a high school team could beat. That's how pathetic this looks to me. Plain and simple. I continue. Because we put ourselves in this position and we have to get ourselves out of this position. It's that simple. Really? So if it's that simple, how come you haven't changed things up? How come you're still doing the same stupid things? Well, we put ourselves in this position, so we have to get out of this position. Who's we? You? Yourself? And you? Who's we? Wilson can't do it by himself. Rippon can't do it by himself. The defense is doing it because they are the we. We as an Evero and we as a defense is getting it done because he knows how to coach defense. Hackett, I don't think you really know how to coach offense because it's not working. And for you to say we, who's the one calling the plays? Is it Wilson? No, it's you. And if you give Wilson the availability to audible, what's he going to audible from? Maybe he doesn't even have the right personnel because you, Hackett, put in the wrong play with the wrong personnel. So let me go back over and say how this should have sounded. Hackett says, this is just me now. This isn't what he's saying. I'm saying I'm going to change what he said because this is how I feel it should have been said. Everything's not fine. I feel like the operation that we're doing is not working. We held the ball for a long time, but we didn't get the job done. Third downs were pathetic, and that's my calling. I need to relinquish the play calling. I'm going to address that as we go. Let's see. They kind of stalled us, but we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going we're not going to keep going how we were. We're going to change things and make things different. We're going to change the game plan. We're going to give Wilson or Rippon an easier play calling, easier playbook to fit their needs. We always want to get better, and that's what it's about. We need to get better, and it starts from me, the coaches, to relinquish what I've been doing because it's not working. Everyone needs to look within themselves, just like myself, and realize we are changing things up, and we are going to make a difference, and we're going to change, and it starts with me, and it starts with the game plan, and that gets shifted to other coaches. That's how it should have said. That's how it should have said. But he tries to sugarcoat everything. He tries to make it sound like, no big deal, man. We're cool. We got this down. We're good to go. No, you're not. No, you're not. And Hackett, unless it changes, you're on a very, very, very short leash. If you lose in London, I'm not too sure that your flight back to Denver is going to be one that you're going to enjoy. Because once you land, you may be packing your bags again, if you get my drift. All right, let's get to the last segment of the show. And here it is. Speaking of London, Jacksonville, Denver at London. Both teams, Jacksonville and Denver, are 2-5. However, Vegas odds has Jacksonville favored by 4 points. Does that surprise me? Not a bit. Why would Denver be favored? I mean, all Jacksonville has to do is score what? Denver's averaging 4 points a game. All they have to do is get 15. That's it. Denver's only gotten 6. Well, they've got 23 points against the Raiders. They've gotten 16 twice, or twice, maybe. They got 9 twice. You're not going to win with scores like that. Denver has only scored above 16 points one time, 23 against the Raiders. And that's because the Raiders have a very porous defense. 16 points, 9 points. Not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen that the Broncos are going to win. Jacksonville is 2-5. And I know they're not a good team. But are you trying to tell me that Denver's a good team? Not at this point in time. Absolutely not. And I understand we've been in close games. We lost 10-9. I get that. We lost 16-9. That's a touchdown. We lost 12-9. I understand this, guys. I get it. But all you have to do is lose by 1. You don't need to lose by 11, 3, 7. You don't have to lose by them. You only have to lose by 1. And Denver is finding ways to lose instead of finding ways to win. And to me, that all rests on Nathaniel Hackett not knowing how to call plays, how to call a game plan, and how to call a game that is structured to the players that are on the field. If that doesn't change, there may be a change at head coach prior to the end of the season. Just saying, I don't necessarily want that. I would rather have things change for the better. To be like an O'Connell in Minnesota, or the head coach for the Giants, or for that matter, the head coach for the Dolphins. Although the Dolphins have slipped a little bit, but still, who would have thought the Giants would be 6-1? Unbelievable. But they are. Why? Because their head coach understands what it means to delegate and to be a leader and not a tree hugging kind of head coach. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you have not, please do so. I greatly appreciate it. And tell your friends. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the likes button. Hit the notification so you know when it's posted on YouTube. I really, really appreciate it, guys. Enjoy. Hopefully enjoy Sundays. It's gonna be an early game, guys. It's gonna be 6:30 on Pacific Coast, and it's games in London, so it's 6:30 Pacific, and it's 9:30 East Coast, and it's 7:30 Mountain Time, guys. If you can watch the game live, enjoy it. I hope the Broncos win. Absolutely, I do. Let's just get past these 4-game losing streak. Let's turn this thing around. All right, let's turn it around somehow, some way. Let's bring the Broncos country karma to London. Until next Tuesday, guys, take care. Have a great, great rest of your week, and hopefully a Broncos win on Sunday. We will talk to you next Tuesday. Till then, bye-bye.